Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we are going to be talking about keychain services. Basically including keychain capability into our app. Now, before we include the keychain functionality into our app, let's talk about and learn a little bit more about what keychain is. Okay, so keychain service is this small service or storage area present in your phone and your Mac OS, basically for storing some of the secret information that is encrypted, for you, and then stored in a secured location within your device. Okay, so the data does not leave. Usually, it does not leave in most of the cases. Now, if you have enabled keychain with iCloud sync, in that case, your keychain data is going to be securely copied over into your iCloud account, and it's still going to be encrypted. So data at rest is going to be encrypted and secured, but that information can only be retrieved by that particular device that has encrypted. Okay, so it's a very it's a store that can be used like the documentation says, securely store small chunk of data on behalf of users. Now, what are the things that you can basically store in this store? Basically, you can store like credit card information, some notes, passwords, and basically some other things like certificates, keys, and you have these, for example, you have passwords, cryptographic keys that you have generated. You have certificates and identities that you might have, your apps are using different certificates and identities in order to validate their identity and provide a certificate to prove the identity of the app or of the particular service. Then you can store those. You can even store some notes. You can store images, and you can store anything that can be converted into NS data. Now, just remember, the size cannot grow for more than some allowed limit. I don't have the limit handy because it keeps changing based on the size of the device, basically the type of the device, and newer devices support more capabilities, but the fundamental use case does not change. It still is basically storing for password, credit card information, and stuff like that. Your um, your the Apple Pay that stores your credit card information. That's also safely secured and stored inside a keychain wallet as well. Okay, so those are the use cases that you would see about about keychains. Now, this is the architecture that keychain follows. So basically, you have data, you encrypt that data, and basically define some attributes, and combining those two, it creates an item, and this item then gets stored inside this secure enclave based keychain store. Okay, and then this is an encrypted data store that's present on your disk, and after the authorization, the data is decrypted and you can retrieve it back. Now, the implementation itself, documentation talks about it, how you can basically implement several different features. For example, like if you want to implement a password, so using keychain for managing user secret. If you want to remember, small storage items, then you can basically search for item using sec item copy matching and provide the item there. If it's found, then you authenticate, you success, and you end there. And all the subsequent processes that actually takes an effect when you have this when you have the matching occurs. When authentication occurs and authentication fails, what happens in here? So if there is no matching not found, then you prompt user, you re-authenticate, you go back to the failure if it doesn't work, or you go back, you go to success when it actually succeeds the authentication, and then you go end your flow. So this is a general flow basically for storing a password. But you can read this documentation, and if you want to build your own version of password storage, you can follow this particular link. So basically, go to adding or search for adding password to KeyChain, and it actually follows you through like step by step, like how to create credentials, how to create errors, so you can actually know what the errors are, and server and add a query and stuff like that. So you can read all about it, and you can create your own. Now, because keychain operations are like, very few, but they are also needed. There are a lot of wrappers that you're gonna find on GitHub that are open source and available for you to use. And Apple itself has provided a very good example in generic keychain. So I'm going to actually include this file in the sample project. But if you Google generic keychain Apple example, you're going to find this link right here, and you can download the entire uh, sample code. And this was compiled for Xcode 8 and Xcode 9. So it still works. Everything still works. Um, so what you need to do basically, you can look at like, all the other things, but you really gonna need this keychain password item, keychain password item .swift file. And this file actually is what's implemented according to this document, where it provides how to save password, um, and how to read password, and if you update your password, how it automatically matches that password and replaces it with new value and stuff like that. And you can have like, remove account or delete item and stuff like that. So you can do a lot of operations. So they already built it for you. So what we're going to do is that we're going to include this class. This is the only class that we're going to need in order to work with keychain. So in the next video, we're going to be including this particular class into our app, and then we're going to leverage the functionality that's actually written here to save our user's password into keychain secure store, a database data store. Okay, so let's hop on to the next video, and we'll see how to how to save our password securely inside keychain. Thank you.